Well, former Brooklyn Nets guard, friend, and former teammate of Kevin Durant, Mike James had some interesting things to say on a recent podcast appearance. So let's start here. Mike James claims him and Kevin Durant developed a friendship once he signed in Brooklyn over a year ago. Mike claimed him and KD had things in common like playing video games together. Mike ended up finishing his season last year in a EuroLeague in Greece, I believe, and here's where KD comes into play. Mike James claims he and his friend KD had a little bet that they made over the phone. Pretty much, if Mike James's EuroLeague season ended first, he would go to Brooklyn and watch Kevin Durant and the Nets play in the playoffs. If Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets season ended first, KD would travel to Greece to watch Mike play overseas. In a TikTok video posted from the Player's Choice channel, Mike said this: so when the Nets was trash and they were losing, I called him one day and I was like, you know what this means, right? You're going to come to my playoff games. Durant was like, no way I'm coming to your playoff game. And then like a week later, Durant called me before the playoffs started and he said, yeah, I'm going to be there. So the story in this is essentially what Mike James is insinuating about his friend. And by the way, what a friend. Mike is claiming that Kevin Durant knew the Brooklyn Nets were going to get eliminated sooner rather than later, and that Mike James's Greece season would go longer than KD's season, which means KD knew the Brooklyn Nets were going to lose in the playoffs, and he would be able to travel to Greece, which he ended up doing, by the way, to watch his friend Mike James play basketball. A pretty damning thing to say about your friend. You definitely don't want to hear that about a star in the league, because essentially it can be perceived as if Durant quit on the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, now as we get into the offseason, Durant's asked for a trade, and there are a lot of Brooklyn Nets fans kind of putting one to one together and thinking, man, maybe Durant checked out earlier on the Brooklyn Nets than we maybe even thought, maybe even before the trade request. Speaking of Mike James, on this same Player's Choice podcast, he said something else interesting that fans have kind of stuck to. He named his top 5 players in the league, and this goes as follows. It's LeBron, Giannis, Joel Embiid. I think those are pretty obvious choices. He also added his friend KD. And the 5th choice, not Steph, it goes to Luka Doncic. He says Steph, like how he plays, how he gets stuff off, is just kind of one-dimensional at times, if that makes sense. He's not the primary ball handler a lot. And for a point guard, that kind of bothers me. But he does score off the dribble. So, I mean, he's a superstar. When you're picking your top 5, though, you're kind of nitpicking. He called Steph one-dimensional, and fans are not happy about it. As you can see, a gentleman by the name of Swiper Cam said, I told y'all not all hoopers know ball. Mike James just said Embiid, Luka, Durant, and LeBron greater than Nikola Jokic and Steph Curry. Y'all let me know, do y'all agree in the comment section below. Here's my thing. This Kevin Durant and Steph Curry conversation is just super intriguing to me, because in today's game, yes, I know KD is the ultimate bucket getter, but all other facets show me that Steph Curry impacts winning more than KD. He's seemingly unselfish. He's the greatest three-point shooter of all time. Him playing off the ball does not make him one-dimensional to me. I actually look at Steph as being more versatile because he can play off the ball. But hey, I'm not a hooper. I ain't get past AAU basketball in middle school. According to Mike James, a professional NBA player and overseas basketball player, he's saying that makes Steph a bit one-dimensional. Y'all let me know about some of Mike's comments. What a friend. Just throwing your man's Durant under the bus. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Mike James's recent appearance on the Player's Choice podcast. Please show them some love. They're up-and-coming pod, and they got a nice get right there in Mike James, all right? Thank y'all so much. Time, love, support. Never taken for granted around here. I'm out.